Hey everybody! Welcome to another club chat. Today we are going to be doing a Digital Dream Club holiday special of sorts. We are going to sort of be going through all of the biggest stuff that we were interested in 2018, some of the more fresh and recent stuff that caught our eye, and just reviewing that year as a whole. So as usual, I'm Kyle.
I'm Sam.
And we're going to just jump right into it. So, beginning of the year had a big thing that I think a lot of people sort of forgot about. I don't know, it didn't have a lot of longevity in the weird way.
It was a huge explosion, and then it kind of stopped very quickly. Do you remember in January 2018, when many people proclaimed, this anime will be anime of the year, no matter what. We're all gonna love it through the entire year.
Do y'all remember Devilman?
Devilman Crybaby.
Devilman was brought to life with the visual styles of Yuasa. It was I enjoyed it for sure. I thought it was a little bit of a fun take on the original Devilman series. Mind you, I'm nobody to talk. I didn't watch the original Devilman. I mean, I watched like a little bit of that one movie or whatever, just like the intro bit with the terrible English voice acting.
Oh, I watched the original Devilman.
Oh, you watched all of it?
I watched 2 episodes of it after watching Crybaby.
Shit, okay, and there we are.
It's very different. It's very hard to watch.
I mean, it's a product of the 80s, right? Like, you're getting what you signed up for.
I think it might be earlier than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't quote me on that. But very early anime. The point is, we got this beautiful revival, and this time it really, really captured the intensity and kind of more of the pain in that original story. I enjoy horror to an extent, and even I had times during Devilman Crybaby where I was pretty uncomfortable, and I was like, normally I would not be watching something like this. This is not what I enjoy. But I think it says a lot about the work that it was able to capture so many people's attention despite some of the content in there.
Yeah. I think the sign of just good art in general is the ability to evoke strong emotions from people. And not only did Devilman manage to do that within, like, episode 1, people were either, like, revolted or terrified or just, like, hyper intrigued. But the way that show manages to grip you and keep those, like, those shocks and those, like, sad moments, those hype moments, all of that stuff, it was a nice little emotional roller coaster to get on. And I feel more classic anime could definitely use fun revivals like that, so long as it doesn't become oversaturated in a, Hollywood reviving all of these old properties sort of way. I think, it'd be nice to see some other stuff get that Devilman Crybaby treatment again.
Yeah, and like a love for the original work that really shows, and you can tell that it's not just a cash grab is an important part of that. But it's something I could look forward to, and it's something that maybe isn't too far-fetched considering Devilman's prominence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we're skipping forward a bit in the year now, more to spring, and just a small note, something that I really enjoyed seeing was there was a new TenA musical that came out and had a run in Japan. I unfortunately didn't get to see it. I wasn't able to go to Japan just to see a musical, but the great people over at Empty Movement did get to go, and they not only helped in making an English translation of that, but they also made a lot of the merch from that musical available to Western fans, so I got a nice little Utena handkerchief that's got the official seal, and it looks really great, and it's hanging on my wall. And so getting to see that, and getting to see these characters who I really fell in love with last year, and who I think about a lot, as you might know if you've seen this channel. Seeing them brought to the stage, which I love theater, and seeing them do musical numbers, which I love musical theater even more, was really a delight.
Heck yeah. It's a weird one because I remember seeing a lot of buzz about the Utena musical around that time, but for whatever reason it didn't register in my mind that, oh, this is happening right now. Because, I mean, Utena is an old franchise, naturally I go, okay, well, it's probably something that's already happened, in the same way that, like, the Persona 3 musicals happened. Like, it's something that eventually takes place, those weird stage play things of properties in Japan, but I never really expected something so current year. So that's definitely nice to see Utena get all of this attention in, like, 2018 of all times. So a little bit later in the year, around April, was when we saw the release of the Season 3 of Hero Academia. That one was a big one for me. I was really looking forward to this season because, well, I mean, I had read ahead in the manga after Season 2. I got really excited, and I wanted to see more of My Hero Academia in action. So knowing what was happening in the manga around this point, I got really excited to see a lot of people's reactions. I think that's why we did a video about predicting all that stuff. So yeah, no, I think that Bones did a very good job adapting season 3. There were a lot of very major moments that they went above and beyond to make it really stand out, and I'm just really looking forward to see more in the future. What did you think, Sam?
Oh, I really liked it. I've never been a huge fan of Hiroaka. It's something that I watch from time to time, and like I find it enjoyable, but what really stuck with me from this season was not so much something that happened in an episode, but just seeing like the entire anime community's hearts being captured by the battle between All Might and All For One in the United States of Smash scene. That really like hit a lot of people deeply, and just seeing the hype surrounding that and everybody losing their minds and getting so emotional, I think that was really beautiful. And being older in the anime community and more connected with everybody now than I was when there were other like huge properties like Naruto and One Piece and Bleach going around, and of course like One Piece is still going around, but it's almost like it's a little separate from the anime community that I'm in now. It's not that people don't like it, but it's not talked about all the time. Well, Hiroaka really is. And even though, like, I'm not a huge fan of the show, I really, really love just being in the thick of that and seeing people experience it, you know?
Well, that's the exact feeling that I was getting as I was watching all of this play out, is I wanted to see how people would react to all of these, like, major events. Everything in, like Season 1 is okay. It's a fun little introduction to the world. Season 2 is when things start to really pick up, but it's still kind of lacking in a few aspects. It's still very grounded. Season 3, like, things are shaking up, there are major character arcs happening, we finally get to see some major development between, like, Midoriya and Bakugo. Stuff like that really, really grips people, and it cements people's interest in this show. And so you start to see people who are, like, you know, kind of lukewarm, tepid on the series. Their passion comes out, people are interested in it again, and that I think works, especially when we are moving into the big stuff that's happening next season. So it's good stuff for sure.
And I have no idea what you mean by big stuff, because like I'm spoiled for so much, but I have no idea what the timeline is. Do you know when the next season is airing? Or
I think it's sometime next year. I think that they've pretty much cemented their, like, oh, we're gonna try to do it annual around April, I would imagine.
Okay.
But you know.
You want to know what else happened in April?
Ooh, what happened?
420 Man. What I really mean is Agretsuko aired. The Netflix original series about a cute new Sanrio character that's geared a lot more towards working adults, which I really liked. I wouldn't consider myself, like, a hardworking adult who's exactly the same as Retsuko at this point, but I do kind of appreciate an anime or cartoon, whichever you want to call it, that's kind of more centered around adult life. I thought it was very, very charming, and as somebody who, like, I guess I'm very friendly and like a normal looking woman on the outside, but I also really, really enjoy rock and roll and punk rock specifically.
I'm not like those other girls.
I'm not like those
I
other
love
girls.
Metal.
I have 5 leather jackets.
So this is unfortunate that it's going to be exposed here in the video. I haven't watched Agretsuko.
Oh, Kyle. You hear that?
I know that it's...
That's the sound of me loading a gun and putting it to your head.
It's deserved. I really should have watched it sooner, I think, because, like, it looks good as shit. What can I say?
Yeah,
but
it's fun.
No, it looks fantastic. I've been meaning to go check it out, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. Especially considering, like, I know the original premise was more short little movie things, like minute short clips with Agretsuko in it, or Retsuko, I guess. But the fact that they managed to get a full show out of it, a full first season, is fantastic for one, because it means that the characters have enough depth that they can get, you know, multiple episodes. But no, I think, like, everybody really grew attached to the series for that whole stretch, and I think there's a new season coming out too, so...
Oh yeah, there is. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, get into it a little bit later. But yeah, no, people like it. Naturally, they should, and I definitely need to check it out for sure.
Alright, should we round out the end of our spring season here?
Yeah, sure.
Not so much something we got into immediately when it came out, but I remember it was around my birthday, which happens to be right next to Kyle's birthday as well, when he told me, I'm gonna get you this for your birthday whether you like it or not, and then a few hours later, I had Monster Prom downloaded to my computer, And then a few hours after that, I was totally sold on this game.
It is... I mean, it's everything that I love in just the world as a whole. I'm a big fan of dating sims. I always have and I always will be. I do like, monsters, supernatural, that sort of stuff. But the fact that all of that and Monster Prom is a competitive dating sim is just, it's fantastic. It takes the fun solo experience of this dating game and you can enjoy it with your friends in such a way that you are literally fighting head to head to court different monsters. And all of that on top of its incredibly clever and hilarious script, as well as like the stunning and cute little visuals for the game. It's a really wonderful experience, and I highly recommend other people pick it up, because if you don't have it yet, I think that most people will get some sort of enjoyment out of it.
Oh yeah, there's so much love put into it, and something that actually surprised me a lot. Now, for somebody who likes monsters and the supernatural a whole lot, I was not really following Monster Prom while it was in development. I had barely heard about it when Kyle gifted it to me. And so I thought it was a pretty serious dating game. And so going in, I totally botched my first run of it. And I can't explain how confused and yet elated I was when I ended up as the finale of my first session with this game. I was getting beat up by the character that I was trying to court. And when I tried to spin that into a funny, this is romantic angle, I was called a bigot by the whole school for conflating violence and romance. When a game has the balls to pull that on you, your first time through, you gotta respect it.
It knows what it's doing, and it completely commits. Because everybody wants to have a just sort of solid, very standard dating sim experience, but nobody expects to fight their lover. No one's ready for that. And Monster Prom will give you that. Monster Prom is a great game.
It's so good.
It's fantastic. It is charming, and it is definitely worth a playthrough.
Oh, for sure. Makes me want to play it again.
Speaking of games, though.
Speaking of games, another thing that I picked up in summer was Splatoon 2. And now, I was a huge fan of Splatoon 1. It's the only, multiplayer competitive game that I consider myself actually good at, actually good at a competitive level. And so it took me forever to get around to Splatoon 2 just because, a Switch was pretty out of my budget for quite a while. But not long after I finally got it, they released the Octo expansion. And now I have very, very strong feelings about the Octo expansion because Splatoon, if you're familiar with it, has a very weak single-player story mode. If you are at all good at Splatoon, if you're decent, it's gonna be no problem. You're basically just going through for the upgrades and special items you can get. It's underwhelming. I like the story, I like the music, but the actual playthrough, the actual gameplay, is very kind of mind-numbing. And so when they came out with Octo expansion, I was blown away because what it does is it takes these really creative, really strange and cool aspects of Splatoon and the gameplay of Splatoon and the different weapons and all that, and it makes levels completely designed to fit those things and to use those odd aspects that you don't see in other games. It's intense, it's difficult, it's fun, and it's really, really great overall. And I love that a story can end with Pearl, my favorite squid girl, screaming really, really loud at something, and that kills the boss. That's amazing, man.
Nah, Splatoon 2, I did get a chance to play it. I picked it up a while back. Fantastic game. Fun little, multiplayer shooter. It's Nintendo's hit new franchise. The single player, not especially great. I never played Octo Expansion. I didn't get the DLC for the game, but I did play around with the single player in Splat 2, and it's okay. It's just a lot of the same sort of missions with a few added flair here and there. Oh, look, now you have to fight against this weird crusher. Or, oh, now you have the blocks that come out when you shoot them, or something like that. It's a lot of the same mechanics, but switched around. It's more of a challenge mode than anything. And I mean, you have to give them some sort of props for turning this multiplayer shooter into at least some sort of cohesive single-player mode. That was going to be a challenge for sure, and they pulled it off a little bit at least. So, whereas the first single-player in Splat 2 is definitely a trial run of things, you definitely see that Octo Expansion is where the entire thing is taken off, and they've really hit their stride.
They really have, and it's just... It feels so good. For the first time with a Splatoon single-player mode, you're going to have to try again and again and really learn and really get better at things if you want to succeed. And just saying, I do have the golden hairpin.
I don't know what that means.
It means that I beat everything, including the really, really hard secret boss.
You're very good at Splatoon, Sam.
Thanks, I need the world to know. Alright, now for another release in the summer, actually in June, we had the new FLCL, specifically Progressive because I haven't had the time to watch Alternative yet. And now, I'm gonna keep this short because I know that Progressive is kind of... well, it's polarizing and a whole lot of people don't care for it. I really liked it. I really liked it as not just a follow-up, but as its own thing. I think it did a great job trying to follow the original FLCL, because that's a really big task. Those are big shoes to fill, and while it faltered in some places, I think ultimately it did a good job, and it was fun to watch. And I liked kind of seeing some characters who came back in a new light, as well as new characters.
They still got that guy with the robot head? The robot guy with the screen head?
He's there, kind of, in a few ways.
Heck yeah. I haven't watched Fully Coolly.
You never watched Fully Coolly?
Yes, this is what this video is. You probably should have prefaced this. A lot of the things that are on here I haven't seen or done.
Well, I haven't seen some of your things, too.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, unfortunately I have not seen Fully Coolly, or Progressive, or Alternative, or any of it, because... not for lack of interest. I'm sure I'd like it. I have to watch it.
Oh, you'd love it. Maybe we can binge the first season during break.
Oh yeah. I know that it's very quick episodes too, so like, I'm sure it'd be easy to get through it.
Anywho, speaking of things that one of us hasn't seen or played, the Spider-Man game.
Speaking of segue, Spider-Man PS4 or Marvel's Spider-Man, the hit new, well, not new anymore, but it came out in September, and it was the hot new thing. Everybody was into it, myself included. I loved the Spider-Man game when it came out. It was fantastic, it was spectacular, it was other Spider-Man synonyms. But yeah, as somebody who has played through almost every single Spider-Man game, well, not the fucking weird, like, PS3, Xbox 360 amazing Spider-Man games for those movies. Those ones I have not touched, thank God. I know that they're bad. But the Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, Ultimate Spider-Man, those games, I grew up with them, and I loved them growing up because, you know, they were great games, and they were my intro into Spider-Man as a franchise. So, getting to see all the mechanics that I enjoyed that were, you know, a little bit buggy but still fun to play around with.
Buggy?
Because he's arachnid, not a bug, not an insect. Spiders are arachnids. But yeah, getting to see all these mechanics evolve into something that's actually cohesive and actually works 100% of the time, and all these fun new mechanics that's added into the game, it was an absolute delight to play through, and all of that's not to mention the, like, fantastic story that went along with the game. They definitely didn't have to go as hard as they did writing a Spider-Man story, but it manages to capture, like, all of the essence that, you know, like, your Andrew Garfield, your Tobey Maguire, and your Tom Holland Spider-Mans all had, and just shrink it down into one really perfect little Spider-Man story, and I loved it.
A lot of people loved it. I, like I said, didn't get the chance to play it because I don't own a PS4, but I saw everybody losing their minds about all the different, like, small loving details that were put in, and I mean, like, hats off to it. It looks like it did a great job.
Hell yeah. You could take pictures. Picture mode. Everyone was taking pictures. It was like Spider-Man everywhere.
Spider-Man snap.
J. Jonah Jameson was rolling around in his grave. If he died at some point. I'm sure he has in the comic.
Everybody's died in the comics.
Me too.
Me 3.
In my comic.
Gotta pick up the latest issue of the Kyle comic.
Oof. I draw it myself. It's not very good. Speaking of video games, any gamers out there watch Castlevania Season 2?
I haven't watched Season 1.
But I certainly did. I watched Season 1 and 2. Not all at the same time, but you know what I mean. Castlevania Season 2 came out, and it was very good. It was a fantastic little Castlevania story, especially considering I haven't played any Castlevania games, but I still enjoyed it. Like, it is perfect for people who haven't played the games, and I'm sure it's wonderful for everyone who has and gets all those little references. It is just overall a good little show, and Netflix knew what they were doing when they handed that off to Adi Shakur, I think is the producer. I'm probably butchering that. But great guy to produce the show. I'm sure there's way more people who made it, but anyways, Castlevania Season 2, very good. It was longer. Like, a lot of people were asking for that, considering how, like, it was a short little prologue, Season 1. Season 2 felt a lot more complete, and the stakes were so much higher. All these new characters got introduced. It managed to balance, like, the high-stakes, visually impressive action of Season 1 with all of this really intriguing, almost, like, political drama.
Interesting.
It's really good. No, I think, like, Season 2 is excellently written, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's also good because the showrunner on that has also talked about doing a Devil May Cry thing, so...
Oh boy.
Fingers crossed.
Your favorite.
That'll be good for the future.
And I think we've got a whole host of other animated things, because I'm not sure which all we're considering anime.
Yeah.
I think you watched more seasonal anime than I did this year. There's one that I'm sure we both want to talk about that I think we should save as the last one.
Oh yeah, that'd be a smart choice.
So tell me what you thought about the things you did watch, Kyle.
Yeah, no, I remember like almost a month ago, I want to say, I just like out of nowhere, I said, okay, well, since I have this Crunchyroll Premium, I should probably check out what seasonal stuff is out right now. So I checked out 3 different shows, the first of which was ssss.gridman, or just Gridman, if that's what you're into, done by Trigger. Fantastic show. 100%, definitely recommend checking it out to everybody. It is a fun, action-packed Trigger show that has this just like very strange tone to the entire thing, and I can't really summarize it in just like a few words other than like terrifying action. It's a weird action adventure, weird psychological horror show that really knows how to get under your skin but also really hype you up in a lot of weird ways. It's a good Trigger show, and it's well written. It just suffers from, I think, like a little bit too much fan service in some of the earlier episodes.
And it has a guy who eats trash.
The guy loves trash.
That's all I know. I can't wait to meet him.
Big into trash.
Me too.
SSSS Gridman, fantastic. The next one that I checked out was That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime. It's good. It's like, okay. I watched a few of the earlier episodes, and I was really into it because I've seen a couple of isekai type shows, Sword Art Online included, so,
Oof.
like, it's kind of easy to outdo Sword Art Online. But no, it had a really interesting premise, especially early on, but I think it kind of gets a little bit messy in the later episodes. It's still going on. A lot of these are still going on, actually, but Reincarnated as a Slime it gets a little bit messy. In the middle of it, it kind of loses its direction. It's building up towards some big climax thing, but it lost me in its middle episodes, and I think that's kind of a shame because it did have a lot of weird, interesting stuff going on. It's fallen into a lot of the same trappings of traditional isekai stuff, especially like I am the strongest man and everybody's very horny for me. And that's just how it is, I guess, if you enter a fantasy world. If you are writing a story where you want to be the hot shit cool protagonist, that's just a power fantasy for you.
That's how it goes.
And then last up on the seasonal anime was Double Decker Doug and Krill, which is done by the same people who did Tiger and Bunny. And I actually, in my Tiger and Bunny video, I said I was really looking forward to this, and the early episodes were really, really pulling at me. I was super intrigued. But now that I've gotten through most of the season, I gotta come out and say it's not very good.
Oof.
I'm kind of let down. I know that a lot of the same writers and the director who did Tiger and Bunny are not working on this, which I guess should have been my first indicator that, like, it's probably not going to be of the same quality. But yeah, no, Double Decker, it's just kind of like messy. Especially in the like later episodes now, it doesn't know what it wants to be anymore. Sometimes it's a fun like supernatural cop drama. Sometimes it's a weird like political thing with like, oh, the military and the police are tied together and there's so much like there's a class war going on and all of this really interesting stuff. And then sometimes it's about aliens, and it's just got all of these different genres floating around, and I don't know, it hasn't gripped me. It lost me very early on, so it's not really getting my recommendation.
A lot of anime that are getting kind of lost in the fog this season. But at the very least, there is one show that knows exactly what it's doing. Bizarre as that goal may be. And it is the long-awaited JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Vento Oreo, or I think most people are just calling it Golden Wind now that the anime is coming out.
Yeah, I think that's what they've gone with for the anime.
Let me tell you all. I have waited, and I'm not kidding, 4.5 years for Vento Oreo. I read JoJo a long time before, well, not a long time, but a little bit before it got really big. And part 5 was always my favorite. I loved it so much despite the bad translation, and I've just been waiting. I have been waiting for you all to see part 5 in beautiful David Pro animation, with good translations by Crunchyroll, and it is living up to everything I could have ever dreamed and more.
I've personally been loving the shit out of Golden Wind, Vento Oreo, part 5, whatever the frick you want to call it. It looks fantastic. It's like going on vacation to Italy, the show.
It is, and also getting punched in the face in Italy. God, it's so excellent. If you're not already watching it, I'm pretty sure you're already watching it, but if you aren't, get in there, because it's going to be a great season. For the first time, I'm really sticking with the anime. Every JoJo Friday, I have a routine with one of my friends where we watch it, and I absolutely lose my shit every time because I'm finally seeing some of my favorite scenes and characters animated. I think I have told this friend no less than 8 times on 5 separate days at this point, I love my boys, because I do, and they're all great, and just, it's a blessing. Watch it. And now...
Good show.
There's one more animated thing. It's not so much an anime, it's another Netflix original. And that is the new reboot of Shira.
It's another kind of like Devilman in a weird...
I don't know if you can put those things side by side.
You know what I mean. It's taking an old property that was popular back in like the 70s, 80s, and it's giving it new life in a new form. And I love what they did with the new Shira, despite what, a lot of losers will say on the internet. No, it's fantastic. Beautiful show later on. It has a few kind of like visual inconsistencies, and it kind of is slow with the good animation, but I think, well, hopefully after season 1 did as well as it did, the budget will come in and season 2 will, really blow our minds out. That's not a phrase, but you know what I mean.
It is now. But yeah, no, this new Shira has been just, like, absolutely so much fun. It is a little slow at first, but once it gets going, it really gets going. And once it hits its stride, it suddenly becomes so funny and so enjoyable, and I ended up binging it so quick. The characters are all really likable, and the designs are great. I really want to cosplay Shira. I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm looking forward to a lot of season 2s and new episodes.
Yeah, basically. A lot of this is just us saying, "Aw, man, can't wait for more."
Can't wait for... It's that good.
Yeah, it's that good. If you haven't checked out Shira already, do yourself a favor. It does have a few... Obviously, it's not perfect. It has a few issues here and there. But I think it's also important to keep in mind that this one is literally being made for, like, young girls. It is, in essence, like a kid's show. So, like, a lot of the story beats are not going to be as, like, complex as some of the other more adult shows on Netflix, and, you gotta take it with, like, a grain of salt, where it's like, yeah, some of these villains are probably not going to have, like, the deepest motivations, but hey.
And I mean, if you watch our channel, and specifically our club chats, by now you probably know that Kyle and I have no qualms about watching cartoons that are maybe made for kids, but you know what? They're still enjoyable, and they're still great.
Yep. They're good in their own right.
Alright, on to the next one. How do we start this?
I don't even know. I mean, actually, you know how we should start it? Exactly how Toby did, and just drop it on people.
Deltarune!
Deltarune came out. Fucking Undertale 2.
Undertale 2, but not really, but maybe. But did you know that it's just Undertale rearranged?
It's an anagram. Everyone loves an anagram. Deltarune came out. For free, even. We got a taste of something Toby's been working on that maybe will continue, maybe won't. The point is, he's out there creating again, and it's just, like, so refreshing not only to play Deltarune, but for everybody to stop acting like Undertale wasn't a masterpiece. Yep. Everyone likes to consider Undertale this mess, but unfortunately a lot of that is attributed to just the reputation it got from the people who were into it, and I mean, even then, a lot of people kind of blew it out of proportion. But Undertale was still a fantastic game, and everyone was reminded of how much they loved Toby Fox's writing and Toby Fox's game design, because when we got Deltarune, we got to see all of Undertale again, except newer and cooler and shorter.
And fluffier.
Still better. And fluffier. So yeah, Deltarune was good.
Deltarune was fun. It had that signature Toby sense of humor, and I think, like we've been saying, a big part of the appeal and what makes me so fond of that, the memory of that time, is just seeing everybody really unabashedly enjoying this thing they enjoy again. And I mean, I'm included among those things. Because Deltarune came out, I started listening to Undertale music again, and I started crying on a bus because I was listening to Hopes and Dreams, and some remix was using the music box part of that.
Oh god. No, that'll do it. That'll do it every time.
Yep. It was a public bus. There were people around.
Oh, it's fine. They understand. Just show them what you're listening to and they'll go, okay.
They start crying too, actually. The bus driver almost crashed because he started crying.
Tears filling up his eyes. He needs little windshield wipers on his eyeballs. But yeah, it was great, and it was especially interesting to see all the mechanics from Undertale refined, and with all of these new like team-based elements to the combat. It was truly a proper sequel, not in like story content, but in mechanics. It was an evolution from the first that I think was desperately needed.
And after seeing Deltarune, I'm really excited for whatever Toby creates, whether it be a continuation of Deltarune or something completely different, because he's really honing his skills. I think it's proved that.
Oh yeah.
Now for something really recent, something that I saw yesterday, and Kyle, you saw a few days ago, I want to say?
Yeah, I think I saw it on like Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. And it blew both of our socks off, I think.
Oh my gosh. I was raised by a nerd. My dad is a giant nerd. He played classic D&D back in the days, and he's always been a fan of comic books, specifically Marvel. And so every time there's a new Marvel movie, I go and see it with my dad. And now, for once, I was the person who came to him and said, we gotta see this new Marvel movie. And it's not specifically Marvel, but I'm so excited for it. And that movie, of course, was Into the Spider-Verse, the newest Spider-Man animated movie. Oh my god, it was so good.
Fantastic film. 100%. Just amazing. All that stuff, again, with the Spider-Man game. But here, when the first trailers came out for this, obviously, people had every right to be excited. Not only was it going to be a new Spider-Man story for the first time, we get to see Miles Morales, but it looked phenomenal. It was this 3D CG animated film that was just a visual spectacle. They had taken actual comic book visuals, lifted it straight out, and threw it in a movie and said, you know what, we'll put a few extra flares on there, we'll go above and beyond, and we'll make the best animated movie of 2018, by far.
Oh, hands down. Best anime of 2018, Devilman. I don't know her.
I don't know her. She don't go here anymore, because it's SpiderVerse time.
Oh my gosh. In the climax of that movie, the climactic fight, I won't go too much into detail because of spoilers, I kind of lost myself in watching it just because the animation was so complex and beautiful, and there was just like this unreal feel to it. But the entire movie, like, the story is great. I'm not saying that like the visuals are the only thing, but the visuals are so refined and so impressive and so amazing that it's hard not to just like gush over them like we are now.
Yeah, the movie has a very well written script. Obviously it slacks in a few certain spots, especially with like different characters, because there's a lot of different spider people on screen. It's hard to give them all the characterization they need. But I remember as I was watching the movie, as I kept being blown away by the visuals, I would have these little pocket moments where I went, I need to just step back, ignore the visuals for a second, and just give them props for writing this really interesting new Spider-Man story. It's not new to people who like Miles Morales and have seen all of his stuff in the comics, but for me it was so refreshing and so interesting to see play out. So I think on a lot of fronts, music, visuals, storytelling, Into the Spider-Verse just kicks ass so much.
If you haven't already seen it, go see it just right now. It's so worth it. I want to see it again.
No, straight up. I want to go see it again. And like, films like these deserve to do well, because unless they get good box office money, big studios will say, oh, well, this isn't popular, we'll never take a chance like this again. But even if it's not just a Spider-Man movie, movies that look like this need to happen more often. There needs to be big, risky, just like hyper stylized animated films, because that is what I think animation should be.
Oh yeah.
I think we should take more risks for like major AAA movies. It would be refreshing to see more stuff like that.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean, like, for all its flaws, I've always considered anime to be a genre of art. I've always considered it to be able to do really great things. It's a unique style of storytelling, and I mean, that's why I like all these like artsy weird shows rather than typical like shonen types of things. Those are good too, but anime, be it Japanese, may it be American animation, may it be cartoons, I really believe that it can be so much more than a lot of people consider it to be. It's fantastic and anything can happen in animation, but we need to embrace it and allow ourselves to say, hey, yeah, this is art, we should take this seriously, we should let people take creative leaps, we should encourage things like SpiderVerse that are trying new things and bringing in new technologies, because I think from here we can only go up if we keep building on this momentum.
Absolutely. 100%.
And that just about brings us to the end of this year, though there is one thing that we kind of gotta mention because it's on everybody's mind, and like,
it was big.
It's big, and it's not so much something that's affected me and Kyle all that much, but it's impossible to miss, and that's of course Smash Ultimate.
Super Smash Brothers, everyone's favorite Nintendo fight game. It's a good game. It's a really good game. I know from people who really like Smash Brothers that it's very, very nice. All the characters are back, so that's good for everybody, but mechanically I know that people have been like reveling in this, and they've been hitting the lab, and they've been finding all of these cool new moves and stuff, and it's like people who like Smash Brothers are finally going and taking showers and playing Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh god. But yeah, no, I don't own this game, but like I said, I have a JoJo Friday every week now at my friend's house, and we watch JoJo and then we play Smash Ultimate, so I have played it a few times now, and more than anything else, I've stuck to my mains, which are Samus and Villager, and specifically I've played Samus and Dark Samus. Is that what she's called? Dark Samus? Shadow Clone Samus?
Sure. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Anti-Samus. I don't know. Dark Samus.
Dark Samus.
Let's go with it.
Let's go with that.
Dark Metroid.
Shadow the Metroid.
Shadow the Metroid.
Okay, anyway, what's really caught my attention and impressed me is, like, we have these clone fighters, which I, not being a huge Smash fan, kind of discounted at first. And so I thought, I'll pick up Dark Samus, I'm pretty good as normal Samus. She feels completely different. The two are just completely different. I got my ass beat as Dark Samus because I could not play her because she was not the same. And it's just, like, it's really great, like Kyle was saying. The technical feel of it is, it's almost, unlike previous Smash games, it almost feels like it really wants you to play around with these things, to, like Kyle said, hit the lab and try new things. Like, I sat down and watched my friend try this specific combo as Simon Belmont and trying to get it just perfect for about 30 minutes. And just watching somebody go through that process and eventually get it right and freak out. So yeah, maybe I'll get Smash, maybe I won't, but it has definitely had an impact, and it's definitely done some pretty great things.
It's a good game. You should play it. I'm good at Little Max, so don't fight me, because he's coming for you.
You'll never see it coming?
You'll never see it. Oh god, yes! I forgot. Joker's in Smash.
And that's all the time we have, folks.
We're out. We're done. I guess just real quick, we can talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to in the next year. Games and movies and anime that are coming out in the coming months. Or in the coming year, I guess, and what we look forward to.
Kyle, do you want to go first with what you're looking forward to?
Hell yeah, I would. I'm looking forward to Devil May Cry 5, baby. I played through all of the Devil May Cry games this year. I discovered, period, my love for this franchise, and with the new game on the rise, I'm super ecstatic to play it. I even pulled out our Xbox One from the box. We have not touched it in years in this house, and I plugged it in, and I was like, I'm gonna play through this demo because Lord knows I need to figure out the mechanics and stuff, and it plays wonderfully. So if you like Devil May Cry, or you want to get into Devil May Cry, you know,
Devil May Cry,
you can try getting it. Devil May Crybaby.
Anime of the year.
The next thing that we are both looking forward to, I would say, in 2019 is Mob Psycho 2. There's been a few promotional videos that have been released on like Twitter and just online in general, and I mean, I loved Mob Psycho 1, you've loved Mob Psycho 1, it's a fantastic show and it looks amazing. So getting to see all of this, like, new content for Mob and all of this new excitement for Mob has been really, really exhilarating. And I can't wait to see what Season 2 looks like, because I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm sure it's gonna look great. What's really interesting to me is, like, every so often I'll see bits and pieces of stuff that's happened in the manga, and I'm really interested to see where Mob Psycho's story goes. That's something that really kind of grips me and that I'm really looking forward to this season, because I'm pretty unspoiled. Like, I don't know just about any plot details, and I find every character to just be so charming and so well written that I can't wait to see them do whatever they do.
The last thing for me, I guess, that I'm really, really looking forward to in 2019 would be My Hero Academia Season 4. As I mentioned before in the club chat, really looking forward to seeing it. I have read up to all of the current stuff in the manga, so I know exactly what's going to happen, and not only is my favorite character in the spotlight, but it is a really, really good bit of the manga. So, you know, look forward to that, everybody.
I was gonna ask who your favorite character was, and then I remembered your entire Twitter profile.
Literally, just like Mirio, Tagada, Lemillion, the best character by far.
Alright, now I'm gonna talk about a few things that I'm excited for in the coming year. So first of all is a little show called Suttas On My, and I'm sure very few of you have heard anything about it because it's kind of obscure, because it's by my main man, the Dark Father, Kunihiko Guhara, the creator of some of my favorites, including Utena, Penguin Drum, and Yorikuma Arashi. So I know very few details, but from what I do know, it sounds so wild. It has to do with kappas and zombies, and the idea of being connected to another human being and what that means. So I'm looking forward to wherever that goes. And then some other general stuff that I'm looking forward to in the coming year. I know a lot of people are with me on this one. There's a new reboot of Fruits Basket. And Kyle, have you ever heard of Fruits Basket?
Nope.
It's kind of an old anime. I watched it when I was young, so I don't remember a whole lot of details, but it's kind of a charming little romance comedy. Like I said, I don't remember too much of it, but I remember the characters, and I remember really enjoying the characters, specifically the characters who were the cat and the cow, and I'll explain that later, don't worry, but I can't wait to watch this again with better animation, with kind of whatever updates they bring to it. And then I talked about Agretsuko earlier, and I kind of teased that I'm looking forward to stuff there, so I don't need to say that to too much of a length, but we are getting a season 2. I can't wait to see all these characters again. I can't wait to see where Retsuko and Haida end up, because I think they'd be a cute couple, and I think the show thinks that too.
Seems like it.
And then one thing that I'm questioning, that I'm definitely going to give some of my time to and see if it plays out in a way that I'll like, is something called Boogie Pop wa Warawanai, or Boogie Pop Does Not Smile. And I don't know much about it, but I know it's a kind of like a horror mystery, which is something that I really enjoy. It has a touch of a supernatural, so I think it's something I could potentially really like, but I'm not sure yet, and so I'm looking forward to finding out.
Heck yeah.
I want to just quick say, you want to know, Kyle, what my favorite thing from this past year was?
What was your favorite thing this past year?
Starting up this channel and making videos with you.
Heck yeah. I think, just like a quick moment, really want to just thank everybody, all of our subscribers, all the people who've watched our videos, everyone who's just been supporting us this past, not even a year, we haven't even hit a year.
We haven't even hit a year.
Ever since we started, there's been this outcropping of support from so many really wonderful people, and it's meant a lot to both me and Sam. So, you know, as we come to the end of 2018, we missed Thanksgiving, but we'll do it now. I'm just really thankful for all of the people who watch our videos and all of the members here at the Digital Dream Club.
You're all our beloved club members, and we can't thank you enough. I mean, I want to make you all understand how much we love seeing your support. Every time there's a new comment, me or Kyle will see it and we'll immediately text the other person like, oh, did you see this? What did you think of this comment? And yeah, anytime you talk to us on Twitter, anytime you comment on our videos or like them or even just watch them, you know, like, it makes our hearts grow 3 sizes that day, because this is a holiday special.
Topical.
Topical.
There it is. No, it means the world to both of us, so a big thank you to just everybody. So thank you for watching this holiday special here at the Digital Dream Club. We hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year.